Good morning, my little chicken pot pies. Today we are going to talk about something called cause and effect. Now, cause and effect is something that affects a lot of areas of our life. We have cause and effect in science with potential and kinetic energy. We have cause and effect in social studies. And we have cause and effect as we read stories in ELA. So today we're going to talk about the ELA part. And we're going to talk about cause and effect in stories. Okay, so cause and effect means cause is something that happens. As you know, you've been studying that cause happens. There's always a problem in the story that gets the story started. So we're going to talk about cause and effect, and I'm going to use the example of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So as I put the causes down, and the effects down, I'm going to put a block that represents each cause and each effect throughout the story, right? Maybe you can look at this and think about a story you know and put the cause and effects that you see in each story, and you could try something similar to this with dominoes or Jenga blocks. So let's get started. Once upon a time, there was a girl who was very bored. She was bored. And because she was bored, she decided she would take a walk in the woods. She was bored, so she decided to take a walk. As she was walking through the woods, she found a house. She was walking through the woods, so she found a house. She went inside the house, and she decided she was very hungry. Probably because she smelled something that smelled delicious. So she went inside the house. She smelled something delicious, which reminded her that she was very hungry. Because she was hungry, she decided to try the porridge that was on the table. So she was hungry, so she tried the porridge. Do you see what we've done so far? So far, we had a girl who was bored, which made her want to go for a walk. And as she was walking, the walk made her find a house. And because she found the house, she decided to go in. And because she went in, she smelled something that made her hungry. And because she was hungry, she decided to taste the porridge. This is cause and effect. This is how a story is a series of cause and effect things. So if I push this beginning problem, which was she was bored, the whole story just flows together because of all the cause and effect. Now, sometimes we're asked to find the cause and effect in a story, and sometimes we're asked to write our own story, and that's what I'm going to have you do today, is write your own story, because I know you have a lot of time on your hands, and writing a story is free. Easy to do. You can do it from the comfort of your own home, and you really don't need very much stuff. Paper and a pencil or a crayon, or maybe you can type it out, or maybe you can just think it out and tell it to one of your siblings or little cousins or even your pets. So I have right here, I have some sentence stems. This is a story starter that I made up. Okay. And I'm going to read it to you. And as I read it to you, we're going to fill in some of the blanks. All right? It says, blank went to blank to blank. So we got a lot of stuff we have to figure out to start our story. Because this is going to be your story, I wanted to give you as much opportunity to personalize it as possible. But as I'm looking at this first line, it reminds me of this. Somebody wanted, but then so, which is a great way for us to always remember how to get a good narrative started. But I'm going to go ahead and choose some ideas for ours. So I'm going to say Sam. I don't know who Sam is. Sam could be a boy or a girl, or even a puppy, I suppose. Sam went to the park. I'm going to decide that Sam went to the park. That's a safe place to be right now. To watch the sunset. So Sam went to the park to watch the sunset. Sam went to the park to watch the sunset. And I don't know if you can see that, because I know this is a little glare on it, but uh-oh, here comes the problem. I see the word unfortunately, and it's a really long word, but it's easy to sound out. Unfortunately, which means unluckily. It means something is about to happen, that it's going to be a problem. So unfortunately, Sam forgot. What did he forget? Well, I'm going to say today that Sam forgot their coat. Uh-oh, Sam forgot their coat. So that's the problem. That's our very first cause. Now we're going to find out what our effect is. They forgot their coat. This was an essential item. Essential means very necessary. It means they needed it. So this was an essential item that they needed to, why do you need a coat? I'm going to say to stay warm. That's what I think a coat is for, right? I love to use a coat because I'm always cold. Okay, so they needed the coat because they wanted to stay warm. Because they forgot the coat, they would, what's going to happen? What is going to be the effect of this cause? The cause is they forgot the coat. So what would be an effect? Yeah, those are probably pretty good ideas, but I'm going to go ahead and write down, they would get cold and cranky. I don't know if you get cranky when you get cold, but I do sometimes. It makes me a little bit cranky. I'm running out of room here, so you're just going to have to trust me that that says cranky. Okay, so because they forgot it, they would get cold and cranky. And that could ruin their whole trip. Luckily, they found, okay, so now we're finding another cause, but this cause gets to be our solution, right? So wonder what they could have found. Well, I'm going to say a blanket. They found a blanket in the car. Maybe they forgot to take it out from last time. Maybe they always keep it in there. But they found a blanket in the car, which they could use to, what could they do with that blanket? Well, they're going to probably use it to wrap themselves up, right? Wrap themselves up. Okay, so now we have another cause. The cause is they found a blanket. And because they found a blanket, they were able to wrap themselves up, and that would keep them warm. And then their trip ended up being happy, or exciting, or exhilarating. You get to choose your word there. After all. So let's look at the cause and effect of this story we just wrote. Let's see. Sam went to the park to watch the sunset. Now, we don't know why he went to the park. We can infer that there was a reason why they went to the park. We can make that inference. It doesn't tell us in the story, except for they went to watch the sunset. Unfortunately, they forgot their coat. So here's our big cause. They forgot their coat. And because they forgot their coat, they were going to get cold and cranky. Now, luckily, they found a blanket. Because they found the blanket, they were able to stay warm. In this story, we have two causes and effects, and they don't really relate to each other like the one in Goldilocks and the Three Bears, which was one on top of the other. These two affect each other, forgot their coat, got cold. And these two affect each other, found a blanket, got warm. So if I knock those out, the story still flows, didn't it? Okay. So even though those two were not completely attached, like there was probably some things that happened in between, they had to because they forgot their coat and they got cold, they looked for something else. So that would be they got cold, they looked for something else, they found the blanket. It doesn't say in the story that they looked for something else, so that was an inference. We had to make that inference because we know if they found something, they must have been looking for it. So that was an inference we made. But we know that when a story flows like this, it makes it more complete and easier to understand, and then you have your complete story. So in this story that we just did, there was a problem. That was that he forgot his coat, or she forgot their coat, and the effect was they got cold. The problem was forgot their coat. The effect, they got cold. The solution was found a blanket, which made them warm up and have a great afternoon after all. So now my challenge to you, and I'm going to hold this up here for a second. You can pause it and write your own story. You can use this sentence starter, this story starter that I made, or you can think up your own story. Just remember that you need to have some cause and effect to make your story flow better, make it interesting. So here's my sentence starters, and you could push pause and copy this down with the blanks, or you can come up with your very own. Just remember that just like in life, in ELA, we're always looking for cause and effect.